I don't know how people are making it right now. I guess it's because of unemployment, and they get that extra $300 on top of it. I think that's probably why. But eventually that's going to run out. You know, how are people supposed to pay taxes when we're not producing anything? What are we paying taxes on? When you got a significant portion of the population that are unemployed because of lockdowns, because of government created lockdowns, like how we usually bring in about 3.5 trillion in taxes for the government a year. But when they locked things down and eliminated small businesses and jobs, I just don't get it. I think a lot of bankruptcies are going to be coming forth. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are. I think it's going to collapse the economy at some point. Something's going to happen major. There's no way they can just keep printing out money and expecting there not to be an inflation. They keep on saying, "Oh, there's not going to be inflation, this and that." I mean, I don't know what planet you live on, but the more you print out of money or put digital digits out there of your currency, it devalues it. People have money to, like, fast food. Why is fast food expensive? Well, people have more money, more dollars that are monopoly money, and then they go to fast food and they spend it there. So what happens? It drives the prices up. I think that the main things that people are going to be spending a lot of money on are food, shelter, and energy. Those are the main things. Those are the ones that are going to get highly expensive. So what happens is these people who have been renting, right? And the owners can't evict these people for a whole year, a year plus. They're not getting paid, right? Well, they still have to make mortgage payments on that place, unless they've already owned it. But a lot of people buy places and then they just rent them out, and then they rely on that income to pay the mortgage, and they're required to fix the place up. Well, if you're not paying rent, then how is the owner supposed to maintain his bills? Well, who's gonna have to pay that rent that you haven't paid that whole year? Well, the next tenant's gonna have to pay. They're gonna have to pay higher costs to rent their apartment or rent their house because they lost out on all that money. They've been in the red for so long because the government wants to lock things down and keep the economy open, and keep things open, and have a partial shutdown for certain areas, and screw other people over. So somebody's going to have to pay the price, and that's going to be the next tenant, or that's going to be the people when these regulations of you can't evict people run off. and these prices are going to increase dramatically. So housing is going to be expensive as hell. Just to have four walls. Why? Because the government, overreach of the government. That's what the government does. The government needs to stay small and stay in its place. Worry about defending us. Worry about our infrastructure. Worry about fire departments and police departments, stuff like that. And stay out of our lives and let the free market dictate itself. Stop with the bailouts. Stop with the stimulus. Stop giving our money and making us go into debt and giving our money to foreign countries. If we have soldiers in another country protected, then they should pay us for that protection. We should be getting money for that protection. We should be getting a profit, not going into debt. It's not our responsibility. So these lockdowns have really screwed things up. And now that people have voted for a blue wave and total domination of the leftists in every single facet of all of our major institutions, they're going to, he's already done. They're going to stop doing drilling, and we're going to have high gas prices now. So we're going to have to rely on foreign countries to supply our oil, when we could have just done it ourselves. Oh, why is gas prices going? I wonder why, dude. Because you guys voted for this. This is what you wanted. Why is food prices? Well, because you guys keep printing money. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that's true. Trump spent a lot of money too. Trump added a lot to that debt too. It was Barack Obama, Bush, George W. Bush Jr., Barack Obama, and Trump, and now it's going to be Biden. But with Biden, it's going to be unprecedented debt that's added to the system. It's going to be so hard to get out of debt because you owe so much money. This is why I say, if you live high on the hog, you want to act like you're a big dog and you got a lot of money. You're making yourself a target. Just stay low. Don't act like you got a lot of money, a lot of assets or whatever. That whole bragging thing, I think that, that's going to be going on the wayside. Those people in the Depression times, they were living high on the hog too. The Roaring 20s, they were doing fantastic. People dressed professionally, dressed really nice back then. And then what happened? The Depression happened. They had to resort to sewing tires as tread to their shoes. Now, what would happen if we went through something like that? Which America deserves at this point, because people deserve. People are so arrogant and entitled in America. They think that they're owed stuff. They think that they're owed things, and they don't appreciate nothing. We kind of deserve it. We deserve a depression to equal things out, to balance things out. I don't want to go through that. I don't want my kids to go through that. But I see how heathenistic people are, and in their actions and their beliefs, and they don't appreciate nothing. There's no respect. People deserve to suffer in America. We deserve it. Arrogance. High ego. Think we're better than everybody. Living in a complete bubble. Think about it. You know, those people were so desperate back in the Depression times. And if you walk through the wrong part, you walk through a part of town and you're acting like, and you're boasting about how much money you had, and you have so many people that are going without. What do you think is going to happen to that person? Oh, they're probably going to mug them. That's what I was saying. Like, if you want to act like you're a big baller going forward, you want to brag about things. You want to brag about your car, even though you probably can't even buy it. Even though you're probably in high amount of debt. Yeah, they might make six figures, but they spend more than they make. What is that? Just like our government. The difference is the government is in cahoots with the banks. You know, the banks, they could charge. The Fed is not part of the government. The Fed could charge 13% APR like we do on our credit cards. They could charge 24% and totally bankrupt us at any time. Why couldn't they? They could literally bankrupt America anytime that they wanted to. People don't think about that. The Federal Reserve is not a part of the government. It is a private bank. That's what it is. And when they're having basically 0% interest rates, could you imagine somebody giving you 0% interest rates on a credit card and giving you like $500,000 credit line? Could you? That's kind of what it's like for the government. You don't have to pay much back, but we peons, no. We don't get that luxury, and that's why the government can do it. And that's why you see the government bowing down to the elites. Why is the corporations in charge? Well, because of this. They have to. They can't bite the hand that feeds them. Think about that. These ultra rich elite bankers are the ones in charge. The government, they are the pimps. The government's a prostitute. Anytime they could say, America is done right now. We need that 27 trillion now. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? What if tomorrow the central bankers want their money back and they say, hey, you got, I think the average person owes, if they were to charge the average U.S. citizen on that debt, I think we owe over $200,000 each person. How many people could come up with $200,000? I can't. You don't come up with this debt you owe? If you can't come up with it, off to the cattle cars. Off to the gas chambers. Think about that. How it is possible. Is that a conspiracy theory? Yeah. Is that speculation? Yeah. But they have total control. And you wonder why the politicians act the way they do. You wonder why they're trying to start a race war, the politicians. You wonder why they're causing division. instead of inclusion, instead of bringing people together. Divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. All this wokeness, all this having to accept. If I have a different opinion, I get fired on social media. Oh yeah, how are these companies not getting sued? Aren't they breaking contracts? Maybe there's something in the contract that's saying you can't say certain things. Shouldn't it be illegal though? Shouldn't it be? I mean, isn't that part of our freedom of speech? Isn't it supposed to? Aren't we supposed to have freedom of speech? Isn't that a First Amendment? Why are these corporations allowing that to violate our First Amendment rights? That should come first. You shouldn't tell me how to talk, what to think, but they do. Now, a lot of the stuff I said is highly, I don't know. I just say it could happen because I look at history. I look at the Nazis and I look at what the establishment is, and I see a lot of similarities of how power is accumulated and what they've done in the past. And from what I hear, that these elite bankers and elitists have they funded both sides of World War II. They funded the Nazis and they funded Americans. How did Germany, who owed so much money because of World War I, and they went through hyperinflation and they were in a really bad spot? How are they a world power in only a couple years? How did they have such sophisticated technology? Who funded that? Well, it was because of Hitler's put all that. I don't know. How could you transfer a company? How could you make a country that's in such desperate shape into an elite power in only a few years? How? There had to have been some other people funding them. There had to have been another entity funding them. And that's why I say, like, the establishment, who's in complete control and complete power of everything now, They could come to us for our debts. Could you imagine that? And then on top of that, whatever debt you already have, student loan debt, credit card debt, your car note, your mortgage for your house, and no, they could bankrupt everybody at any time they want. They can bankrupt everybody. And I see what they're doing with Bitcoin. I see how these hedge fund managers, I forgot his name, where Bitcoin is worthless. No, what they're trying to do is drive down the price so they can buy it all up. That's what they're trying to do. Bitcoin might be worthless. It might be worthless going forward. It might go to zero. It's possible. You know, we could find a ton of gold in a big mountain, and there's a bunch of gold. So gold goes down, silver goes down. I mean, you know, it could be worthless, but I don't think so. I just don't think so. I think that they see the power of Bitcoin and people who are invested, which I'm not selling. I'm not selling. I'm holding that. And we'll see what happens with it. But they want to drive fear. That's what they do. They drive fear. They manipulate markets. And nothing gets done about it. Our politicians do nothing. Why? Because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. And if you want to know, and people say the president's just a puppet, you can see Biden's just a puppet. Like, it's literally in your face. Everything is in your face. All of this stuff is in your face. The New World Order is in your face. The back of the dollar, a new order of ages. That's what it means. Right below the pyramid, it says that. It says something on the top about God accepts a new world of ages. That's what it says on that pyramid stuff. Look it up yourself. A new order of ages. A new world order. They put it right in your face. But people are so dumb and brain down and dumbed down and brainwashed. They don't see things. They don't bother to investigate anything. If you believe everything the mainstream media says, you're an idiot. I don't care if it's Fox News or any of them. All of these mainstream media companies are owned by the elites. That's why I get most of my news from alternative platforms. Because they tell me the truth. I want to know the truth. I want to know the facts. I don't want to know fake news. I don't want propaganda. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm some kind of a nut job. I'm some old nut job that, okay, man, okay. How much do you know about our financial system? How much do you know about our history? Then you can come at me. All right? The average Americans think that, because you're sheep. You think I'm an idiot? You're sheep. And they'll do and say whatever it takes to keep their instant gratification going. You want to know why people are so fat in America? Because they put addictive in their food. Sugar's in everything. You wonder why it's so hard for people to lose weight? Because they're addicted to sugar. They put sugar in everything. Everything. Why is fast food so addictive? Because they have so much sugar in there. This is not, you can look it up. Go look at the labels. There's sugar in everything. That's all I got, but I hope people just wake up and realize they're getting played. That's what I hope.